Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, the personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Nashtraya Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Krishna Narayana, and Rishi, the supermost human being, and unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning. Nashta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttama shloke bhakti bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. A loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, established as an irrevocable fact. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Master, open my eyes to the darkness of knowledge.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, a small announcement. So, the 8th canto is missing from here, and whoever is taking it for reading, please know that this is not for taking in your room and reading. This is for Srimad Bhagavatam only. If you want to read, you can read it here. And if you want any Bhagavatam canto for reading, please reach out to your ashram facilitator or anyone, Venkatesh Prabhu, anyone, they can help you. But please don't take it from here, because if it's missing while giving class, then it's a problem, right? So please abide by that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Canto 8, Chapter 8. We'll be reciting verses from text 30 to 46.
Verse 30?
Yeah, 8:30.
I'm sorry, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu, you can read.
Verse 30. Next, is it correct?
Yeah.
Next appeared Varuni, the lotus-like goddess who controls Rankas. With the permission of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna's demons, headed by Bali, Maharaja, took possession of this young girl.
O king, thereafter, while the sons of Kashyapa, both demons and demigods, were engaged in churning the ocean of milk, a very wonderful male person appeared.
He was strongly built, his arms were long, stout and strong. His neck, which was marked with 3 lines, resembled a conch shell. His eyes were reddish and his complexion was blackish. He was very young, he was garlanded with flowers, and his entire body was fully decorated with various ornaments.
He was dressed in yellow garments and wore brightly polished earrings made of pearls. The tip of his hair were anointed with oil, and his chest was very broad. His body had all good features. He was stout and strong like a lion, and he was decorated with bangles. In his hand he carried a jug filled to the top with nectar.
This person was anointing a plenary portion of Lord Vishnu. He was very conversant with the science of medicine, and as one of the demigods, he was permitted to take a share in sacrifices.
Upon seeing Dhanvantri carrying the jug of nectar, the demons, desiring the jug and its contents, immediately snatched it away by force.
when the jug of nectar was carried up by the demons, the demigods were more. Thus, they sought shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
And the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who always desired to fulfill the ambition of his devotees, saw that the demigods were morose. He said to them, "Do not be aggrieved. By my own energy, I shall bewilder the demons by creating a quarrel among them. In this way, I shall fulfill your desire to have the nectar."
O king, a quarrel then arose among the demons over who would get the nectar first. Each of them said, "You cannot drink it first. I must drink it first. Me first, not you."
That's certainly what some of the demons said. All the demigods have taken part in churning the ocean of milk. Now, as everyone has an equal right to partake in any public sacrifice, according to the eternal religious system, it is befitting that demigods now have a share of the nectar. O king, in this way the weaker demons forbid the stronger demons to take the nectar.
Text 41-46, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who can counteract any unfavorable situation, then assumed the form of an extremely beautiful woman. This incarnation as a woman, Mohini Murti, was most pleasing to the mind. Her complexion resembled in color a newly grown blackish lotus, and every part of her body was beautifully situated. Her ears were equally decorated with earrings. Her cheeks were very beautiful. Her nose was raised and her face full of youthful luster. Her large breasts made her waist seem very thin. Attracted by the aroma of her face and body, bumblebees hummed around her, and thus her eyes were restless. Her hair, which was extremely beautiful, was garlanded with mallika flowers. Her attractively constructed neck was decorated with a necklace and other ornaments. Her arms were decorated with bangles. Her body was covered with a clean sari, and her breast seems like island on an ocean of beauty. Her legs were decorated with ankle bells because of the movements of her eyebrows as she smiled with shyness and glanced over the demons. All the demons were saturated with lusty desires, and every one of them desired to possess her.
And we will be reciting the verse number 38. मिथा कलिर अद्भुतेषां तदर्थे दर्शते तसाम् अहं पूर्वम् नात्वम् इति प्रभो मिथा कलिर अद्भुतेषां तदर्थे दर्शचेतसाम् अहं पूर्वम् नात्वम् इति प्रभो मिथा कलिरद्भुतेषां तदर्थे दर्शचेतसाम् अहं पूर्वम् नात्वम् इति प्रभो
मिथा कलिरभूतेषां
तदर्थे दर्शचेतसाम्
अहं पूर्वम्
अहं पूर्वम् नात्वम् इति प्रभो मिथा कलिरभूतेषां तदर्थे दर्शचेतसाम्
अहं पूर्वम्
नात्वम् इति प्रभो मिथा कलिरभूतेषां तदर्थे दर्शचेतसाम्
अहं पूर्वम्
Aham purvam natvam iti prabho mita kalera bhuttesham tadarte tarsha chetasam aham purvam natvam iti prabho mita kalera bhuttesham tadarte tarsha chetasam aham purvam natvam iti prabho. Together, mithar among themselves, Kali disagreement and quarrel. Adbhut there was, chesam of all of them, tadarthe for the sake of nectar, tarsha chetasam bewildered in heart and soul by the illusory energy of Vishnu. Aham I, Purvam first, Aham I, Purvam first, na not, Tvam you, na not, Tvam you, iti thus, Prabhu O King. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Everyone together. O King. Everyone together. O King. A quarrel then rose among the demons over who would get the nectar first. Each of them said, "You cannot drink it first. I must drink it first. Me first, not you." Anyone would like to read the purport? Yes, Antariksha.
This is the symptom of demons. The first concern of a non-devotee is how to enjoy his personal sense gratification at once, whereas the devotee's first concern is to satisfy the Lord. This is the distinction between the non-devotee and the devotee. In this material world, since most people are non-devotees, they regularly compete, fight, disagree, and war among themselves. For everyone wants to enjoy and satisfy his own senses. Therefore, unless such demons become Krishna conscious and are trained to satisfy the senses of the Lord, there can be no question of peace in human society or any society, even there of the demigods. The demigods and devotees, however, always surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord, and thus the Lord is always anxious to satisfy their ambitions, while the demons fight to satisfy their own senses. Devotees engage in devotional service to satisfy the senses of the Lord. The members of Krishna consciousness movement must be alert in regard to this point, and then their preaching of the Krishna conscious movement will be successful.
Jai. So a brief history of this pastime. So goddess Lakshmi had left due to Durvasa's Muni's curse, and then because of her departure, there was there was no opulence, and it was very distressful and ominous. So the demigods went to Supreme Personality of Godhead and wanted his advice, like what should we do now? So the Supreme Personality of Godhead told them that you should churn the ocean milk. Yes.
The background of the story is like Indra kind of somewhere disrespected Durvasa Rishi, right?
Yeah. And then goddess Lakshmi had got the curse. Yeah. Okay, we'll just go ahead and then maybe we can have the questions later. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead suggested to churn the milk and in order to get the nectar, and for that he advised them to jointly work with the demons for this. So then they went to Bali Maharaj, who was the king of demons, and then they consulted among themselves that whether we should do this or not. So they said, yes, we will do this, but they had an hidden agenda in this. The hidden agenda was that they had discussed that they will take the nectar and distribute it among themselves only. So here we see the nature of the demons, right? The demons, they want to only enjoy among themselves and not do distribute with others as well, right? So to carry out this, they needed to carry out the churning of the milk ocean. They needed a rod and a rope. So for the rod, they again went to the Lord, and then the Lord said you could use the Mantara mountain as the rod, and the king of snakes Nagraj Vasuki as the rope. So they first went to get the Mandara mountain, and they had to first get the Mandara mountain and then put it in the milk ocean. But the Mandara mountain was so heavy that even the demigods and demons together, they tried to pick it up, but it just fell, and a lot of a lot of people died. So then they again went to the Lord, and then the Lord, just by his left hand, he picked up the mountain, put it in Garuda, and then put it and then took it to the milk ocean. But then when he took it to the milk ocean as well, the mountain sank because the milk ocean was very deep. Then again, the Lord the demigods went to the Lord and wanted his advice. So the Lord took an avatar of a tortoise, Kurma, so that the mountain could be stable on that, so that they could churn the milk ocean. And then the churning of the milk ocean started, and a lot of things had came out from that. Firstly, halahal, which was a dangerous, deadly poison, and then the Lord asked Lord Shiva to drink that, and and then Shiva drank it and had kept it on in his neck only, and because of that poison, his neck had become blue, and that is why one of the name of Lord Shiva is Neelkant, the person with the blue neck. So in this way, there were a lot of things which came out of the churning of the milk ocean. Do you guys know which all things came out of the milk ocean? Yeah, go ahead.
Elephant.
Elephants, yes. Goddess of fortune, yeah, let others also speak. Yeah, go ahead. Monil Prabhu.
Varuni.
Varuni, yes, Varuni. Who is Varuni? Yeah, the goddess of drunkards. Yeah. Goddess.
It's goddess.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Kastubamani.
Kaustubhamani, yes, the Kaustubhamani came, and then the Lord put it in his chest, on his chest. Yes, what else did come out from the churning of the milk ocean? Yes,
Other various kinds of jewels.
other various kinds of jewels, yes, yes, yeah.
Surabhi
Surbi cow, yes, Surbi cow. Horses, what was the name of the horse? Ucheshrava, yes, Ucheshrava.
Dhanvantri with the nectar.
Yeah, Dhanvantri with the nectar. Yes, that was the last. Yeah.
Airavata and Airavana.
Yeah, Airavat and the elephants. Yes, that's right. What else? Amarayana Prabhu, you have to tell me one name.
Apsarasa.
Apsaras, yes, that's right, Apsaras. Yeah, so we can see over here that a lot of things came out.
Oh yes, okay. Halahal was done.
Yeah. So, yeah, Lakshmi, goddess of Lakshmi came, and then she saw everyone, and then she took Lord Vishnu as her husband. Yeah, you wanted to say something? Moon?
Yeah.
Moon, okay, Moon, yes, Moon also came out. So we see that a lot of things had come out from this churning of the milk ocean, and finally we see that the Dhanvantri had come, Lord Dhanvantri, which is the plenary portion of the Lord. He had come with the nectar, and once he had come with the nectar, the demons, as they had planned, they just snatched the nectar from the hands, and then they started quarreling among themselves. And the quarrel was happening that I will have it first, and the demigods became very morose because of this, because they were also, and like obviously, like they were waiting for the nectar and everything, and they did not get it. So they again went to the Lord, as always, to seek his help. And then the Lord assured them that don't worry, I will create a quarrel among them, and then we will get the nectar. So then the Lord took an avatar of Mohini Murti, which is the female avatar. So the Lord is so beautiful. Imagine how beautiful the Lord might be in an avatar of a woman, right? We can see in the past time when the Lord was in Dwarka, and his wife Satyabhama was there, and once he wanted, so during that time the men were not allowed in the chamber of the woman during the day. But Krishna wanted to see Satyabhama, so he took an avatar of a woman, and that woman, that woman avatar was so attractive that Uddhava, who was not attracted to any of the women, he got attracted to that avatar, and then he was thinking that why did I get attracted to this avatar, and I get only attracted to Krishna, and this is something else. So we see that when the Lord takes an avatar of a woman, he like might be a lot very much more attractive. So similarly, when the Lord took the this incarnation, the demons were very much bewildered, and they when they saw this avatar of Krishna, Mohini Murti, they were very much attracted to them, and then. Mohini Murti asked the demons that, okay, you give me the nectar and I will distribute among you guys. And then the demons readily agreed, like they were fighting, and then they readily agreed to give the nectar to her. And here we see that the sex impulse is so much that they readily agreed, and then they had everyone sat in one line. But the main point over here is that they were fighting among themselves. So we have to understand that we are the demon's mentality is to have sense gratification, while the devotees don't want to do sense gratification, but they want to have a spirit of giving, right? We should always have the spirit of giving. We should take example from the trees, where the trees, they only give shelter, they give fruits. We can see in the pastime of Krishna as well, when Krishna used to go in the jungle to feed the cows and everything, the trees used to give him shelter and fruits and everything. And even when the pastime was with the Brahmanas were doing the yagya, and Krishna had asked his cowherd boys to go and ask for some food, they did not give the food. But the trees really gave the food. So we should take example from the trees, and to only give and not to get something in return, or not to expect something, right? But our nature is so much that we only want to take and not to give. And there is a word in Hindi called kanjus, means to be miser, right? One for Krishna, two for me, right? So this is how we do transaction with Krishna. But Krishna is not interested in what you are giving him. Krishna is interested in what you are hiding behind your back. So we should give everything to Krishna, and then Krishna will give everything to you. And in all these pastimes, we learn just one thing. One lesson is repeated from all of these pastimes, is to surrender to the Lord. Once we surrender to the Lord will take care of everything. But to surrender to the Lord, we should have firm faith. The firm faith which will only happen through devotional service, which will only happen through the association of devotees, which will only happen through practice, right? So it's very important that we are strict and determined in our devotional service. But what are we? We are kapats, crooked. So Jiva Goswami says there are three kinds of kapats. Dhana kapat. The first one is dhan kapat. Dhan kapat are the people who don't want to give their dhan, their opulences, which means money or something which is related to facilities or opulences or anything which they want to give. They want to hold this back to themselves and not give it to Krishna. The second kind of kapats are the bala kapats. Persons who don't want to give their efforts, their endeavors, their determination to the Lord. Right? It's very important that we give the energy, our energy for the service of the Lord. And thirdly and lastly are the prem kapat, people who hold back their love and don't give the love, right? So it's very important that we don't become one of them, but we only give and give, because once you give, then only you will get. If you give money, you will get more money. If you give more knowledge, you will get more knowledge. But what we see in material life or anywhere, that people just want to keep the knowledge to themselves, right? In the corporate world as well, it has become so competitive that people don't want to share their knowledge. Why? Because keeping the knowledge to themselves will they think that keeping the knowledge to themselves will have a dependency on them, and they will not be laid off or something like that. But that is not the attitude as we as devotees should have, right? We should give this knowledge to everyone, and make sure that we are having a successful plan to make future leaders, to make sure the people who are under us have that knowledge. And that is why we should always give. In Vrindavan, there is a famous T-shirt quote which goes that I have lost my heart in Vrindavan. Very good. But Jaya Advaita Goswami said that make sure you lose your heart to the right person. Yeah, so it's very important that otherwise, what will happen, and you might get deviated from your path of devotional service. So it's very important that we have the love for Krishna. And once Satyanandan Maharaj was talking about one of his disciples. There was a Mataji who fell in love with a brahmachari, and she wrote a very big love letter to him. And then that brahmachari took that letter to Satyanandan Maharaj, and Maharaj saw that letter and he was like, "Oh, very nice, very good, very nice love letter." And then he called the Mataji and he told her that, "Oh, very nice love letter you wrote." And then the Mataji was very embarrassed and she was like, "Oh, it was only for his eyes and not for anybody else to read." But then what Satyananda Maharaj told her that instead of writing his name, you should write the name of Krishna. And the love which you have for him, you should have that much love for Krishna, right? Because Krishna is everything. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. Bhoktaram yagatapasam, right? But we want to enjoy, we want to do sense gratification, which is not going to help us, right? But we should take the example from the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, who have given us so much to us. They have endeavored so much that now we have such a beautiful temple over here in Toronto that we don't realize sometimes that how much trials and tribulations the disciples of Prabhupada have gone through. And I remember one of the pastimes which Shyam Sundar Prabhu was talking about. They were in London and they did not have money to pay for the next month's rent, and they were going to get evicted from that place which they had, a small temple. And then suddenly money just came out of thin air, like thin air from nowhere. And the money which they could get hold of was exactly the amount which was required to pay the rent. So Prabhupada says to take risks for Krishna, right? And Shyam Sundar Prabhu said that they tested this at the maximum. Like, how much more can you test Krishna? If you take risks for Krishna, Krishna will give you a lot. And we see the story of Brahmananda and Garga Muni, the two brothers who had given their life to Krishna and to this mission of Srila Prabhupada. And their mother was very much morose that both of my sons have gone, and like one is fine, but having both of these sons, it's like too much, right? So she once went to see at the temple that what their boys were doing, and then Prabhupada asked them to go and take the dust off her lotus feet. and then they bowed down, and then they started Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishna Bhutale. That is what they had known, right? And whenever they used to meet their mother, Prabhupada used to always tell them to bow to their mother, because they got their life because of their mother. And once Prabhupada went to Connecticut where their mother was staying, and then her mother asked that, I have already given my sons, what more do you want? So Prabhupada said, if you could give, Prabhupada had gone to ask for donation, and then she said that, I have already given my sons, and what more do you want? So in this way, we see that we have given so many lives to Krishna, to Maya, but we should at least strive to give one life to Krishna, right? And people think that, no, like we have done so much of Mahapap that we cannot give our life to Krishna and we have to go through our karma and everything. But in India, it is Ma Bap, which are not, they don't let you do devotional service, or, they just say that, you should concentrate on your career and everything, and maybe you can do this for later stage. And there was a pastime that once a small boy, brahmachari, wanted to join the ashram, and then their parents had come and a lot of relatives had come in full delegation. And then the father was saying that, I have no problem, you take my son, but he should only complete his studies, he should finish his work, he should have sons, and then when his sons and children are his own age, then he can join. So then instead, the devotee said, okay, then we will take you instead of taking him. So he said, no, okay, you take my son only in that way. So in that way, we understand that our only goal should be to give our life and energy to Krishna. And whatever we do, we should have personal goals. Even if we are doing business, we should have Krishna as a business partner. If you are doing work, we should have a companion we should have Krishna as a companion and think about him as well, right? Because what are we over here for, right? What are we doing over here in Canada? Is to earn wealth. But earning wealth also causes anxiety. And when we have the wealth also causes anxiety. And then spending wealth also causes anxiety. So then, if we are taking so much anxiety for wealth, why don't we take this anxiety for Krishna, right? So we have to understand that taking anxiety for Krishna is only beneficial for us as well, because ultimately you will be happy, right? If you strive for Krishna, you will be happy, and you can experience this right here, right now in this temple. When you're doing service, when you see others who are in distress, when they come to you and they ask you for help, they seek advice, and you give them a book, and you feel so much blissful that, and you might always also think that even I was once in that position, and now it is so blissful to share this knowledge with others. And we are not like the other material people, right? That we don't want to share the knowledge and everything. So one story was with Bill Gates. Then when Bill Gates was not a billionaire, he was traveling to an airport, and he didn't have change, and then he went and he wanted to read the newspaper. So he went to the newspaper vendor and asked for a newspaper, but he said that he didn't have the money. So the newspaper vendor said, that's fine, that's all right, you can take it. And then it happens, and then it happened another time as well that he did not have the money, and he then again asked the newspaper vendor, can I have the newspaper? And the newspaper vendor said, yeah, you can have it. And then after many years, when Bill Gates had become wealthy, he was traveling again to the same airport, and then he went to the same newspaper vendor and asked him that, do you remember me? And then the newspaper vendor said, oh yes, I remember you. You are Bill Gates. You have done very good for your life. That's great. And then Bill Gates said that, yeah, and he said, yes, I did very well, and thank you so much that when I did not have you gave me a lot, and now I would like to give you. And then the newspaper vendor said that I don't need whatever you want me to give me. I don't need the money, because I am more wealthier than you. I am more wealthier than you because when I did not have anything, I gave it to you. But when you did not have anything, you did not give it to me, right? So for giving, you don't need to be wealthy. You need to have a big heart, and you should not think that only once I become rich, then only I will be able to give. But that giving has to come when you have little as well, right? Then only it's very difficult, right? It's difficult to part with the money which you have, right? Money and wealth is something where it takes a lot of time because we are so much attached to money, because we think that once we have money we can do a lot of things, we can do a lot of things, we will have a lot of power. But that's not the truth. This world is designed as dukhalya mashashwatam. So even if you have a lot of money, you will be miserable, and that will be and it will be short lived. So we have to understand that money will not solve your purpose. Yeah.
With many, like goddess of Lakshmi appeared from the ocean of milk.
Yeah.
Was there a reason behind that specifically, since she was already there with Narayan,
Hmm.
and then she had to appear again? So this appearance has any specific meaning, or it's just a normal appearance?
Yeah, as I had mentioned that she had got a Durvasa's Muni curse, and yeah, she had got the curse, and then she had disappeared, and then that is why the Lord had advised for the churning of the milk. So that is why she had appeared in this pastime of churning of the milk, and then we had got the nectar as well. Yeah. So we have to understand that from this life we are not going to take our beads with us, but we are going to take the taste of our holy name. We are not going to take our books with us, but we are going to take the realizations which we have from reading these books. And we might not able to take the positions and titles with us, but we will be able to take the service attitude. So nobody will go from here. You will not be able to take your body with you, but what you will be able to take is the bhakti, the devotional service. So it's very important that we become charitable, because once we become charitable, we gain eternal assets. But it's not very easy to become charitable. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort. But we have to understand, we have to realize that the more we give, the more we get. There was also a book called Give and Take, where it mentions about a lot of business persons and a lot of people who used to give a lot, they also got a lot. But it also mentioned about business persons and rich people who had a lot, but they did not give it to the society. And then they had a fall down. So it's very important that we not only accumulate assets for ourselves, but also to give for the service of the Lord, for the to give. And if you're not able to give money, we can always give our time and efforts, right? And then ultimately, all we have to give is the love. We have to have that love of God, which is our ultimate goal. And it is not easy to love someone, right? To love someone is to understand about themselves, what they likes, what they dislikes, and to always try to please them. So whatever we do, we have to always have in our mind that how can I please the Lord? What can I do so that the Lord can be pleased? And then only you will achieve the ultimate success of Krishna brain. Jai. Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhus. Any questions? Yeah, Monil Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. So we were talking about Mohini Murti,
Yeah.
and we also talked about how demons got attracted to her. So I was wondering, like, the devotees, they also get attracted to the Lord, right?
Yeah.
And the demons also, they got attracted here. And it's also mentioned that the gopis, they had lust, like that was spiritual lust. But yeah, they had lusty desire for Krishna. And here demons are also having lusty desire for Krishna. What is the difference? I want to know that.
Yeah. So, in terms of the gopis, and we see Prabhu had mentioned a very good point about attachment. So, this is very important topic to understand about attachment. So, in Mayapur, in the Lotus building, when once it was constructed, the toilets over there were like public washrooms. Like it was not attached to the rooms. And then the devotees went to Prabhupada, and then they told Prabhupada, the bathrooms are not attached. We can have attached bathrooms to the rooms, then that will be better. So Prabhupada answered that don't be attached to bathroom, attached to Krishna. So over here we see that the gopis, although they had the spiritual lust, like they were genuinely in love with Krishna, but the demons over here were had the lusty desire of they were not attracted to the Lord, because they did not know that woman is the Lord, right? But the gopis knew that he is the Lord, and and that is why they had pure genuine love for him. But the demons had love for that woman, the love for sense gratification, the love for sex impulse. That is the difference between both the love which we can see in the demons as well as the gopis. So it's very important to understand this point, that we have to focus on loving the Lord and not his features. Like, yeah, we should be attracted like to his features, but not in a lusty way that, oh yeah, I want to enjoy. That should not be our intention, to be attractive. Like, yeah, the Lord is very attractive, but yeah, in a genuine way, in a loving way, in a serving way, right? Yeah.
So,
Is-
Prabhu, what I understand is you're saying that the point should be we are supposed to serve the Lord, but not to enjoy the Lord. The Lord is supposed to enjoy us. That is the whole point, right?
Right.
So that was the difference between the gopis and the demons. Demons
Yeah.
wanted to enjoy the Lord.
Right, yeah.
And gopis, they wanted to be enjoyed by the
Yeah,
Lord.
exactly. Yeah. That's a very good point. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. Emotional.
The Prabhupada says that demigods and devotees, they both are surrendered to the God. They both are serving the Lord. Then why do demigods need to take a human form to get delivered? Why can they get delivered from their death? Either way they are serving out there as well. And since they are serving, that's why God is always there to assist them, to help them.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they still need to be human form?
Yeah.
Even if they are devotees.
Yeah. So that's a very good question, that why the demigods, they are also devotees, right? But the difference between we have to understand the difference between devotees and pure devotees. So I can give you an analogy of devotees being employees in a company, and pure devotees being the children of the owner of the company, right? Like, the employees are working hard, right, and they are getting the money and they are enjoying, but the children of the owner of that company, they are enjoying at a next level, right? They are at a different level, they are enjoying a different level, and they have a different thing. So we have to understand that demigods are not pure devotees, right? They are devotees, but to become a pure devotee, you have to take birth as a human form, and then only you can go to the abode of the Lord. So that is why they have done a lot of pious activities, and that is why they have got opulences and they are in heaven. But that opulences keeps them away from the Lord. And that is why it is mentioned that too much opulences or too much distress will take you away from the Lord. So that is what is hampering their progress in devotional service, in bhakti, that they are not able to reach the higher abode of Krishna. And that is why, to go to the higher abode of Krishna, you have to take birth as a human form, and then you can go there. So that is why they are.
So it says at the same time that those who do sense gratification, they are demons. Those who don't do sense gratification, they are demigods.
Mhm.
So what enjoyment is this? Is they are not doing any sense gratification there?
Yeah, like they have got the opulences. Like it's not that like complete sense gratification is happening. Like even if we are having prasadam, right? We are also doing sense gratification, but that prasadam is offered to the Lord. So that is different kind of sense gratification, which we can see a difference, right? So we have to understand the difference between the sense gratification that demons do and sense gratifications which devotees do. We also do sense gratification, but that sense gratification is different than what the demons have, right? They have their personal motive interest in sense gratifying, and they don't understand that this sense gratification will lead them down to the path. But we are aware that we are not purified. We are doing sense gratifications. Yes, we are not purified, but we have to reach to the level that we are completely out of this gratification, and then only we are just focused on the Lord.
Indra has apsaras and all. That's also kind of sense gratification part.
Yeah.
Does it not contaminate the residents of Indra Lord? Or
Yeah, like in the Indra, as you have mentioned that he has done a lot of pious activities, so that is why he has got this facility. Now it is up to him that he wants to use this facility or not use this facility, but what he has in his karma, that he will get eventually, right? So it's on to him that if we want to enjoy or not. Like a lot of people in this material world, they get a lot of wealth, but it is to their discretion that they want to use their wealth for themselves or they want to use their wealth for Krishna. Now that freedom you have, you the person individual has that freedom. God will not interfere in that freedom, right? So we can't say that Indra is doing sense gratification or not. It is his individual choice of enjoying the apsaras or anything, or he could use those apsaras in the service of the Lord or anything. So that is not in our hands, but he has got this facility and he has got the freedom, so he can do whatever he wants. Yeah. Sure. All right, thank you so much. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. All glories to Prabhupada.